Welcome to the cockpit. My name's Ryan and I'll be your pilot today. Boys and girls, this stream is powered by our partners over at BetUS. Head down into the link in the description. Get a 150% bonus match on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 when you use code YouTube150. Head over down below. I'll give you some of my favorite lines and bets coming up for the Jets 49ers game in just a little bit. But I want to thank you guys so much for coming in here. We're going to talk a little bit about the Jets 49ers. We can talk a little bit about the games from the last 2 days, both the Ravens-Chiefs game and the Brazil game down with the Packers and the Eagles. Lots of stuff to get into. Football is back, baby. It feels really, really nice to get back into the swing of things. Dakota in here as usual. Always one of our first guys in here. Where's my comments? Boom. Nope. Where is it? Dakota. There we go. JETS, Jets. Always good to have you in here nice and early. Kashmir coming in. Pray for a healthy game from all. Yeah, look, we want to get out of this unscathed from every which direction. Last night, we got to see Jordan Love potentially go down with an ACL. I haven't seen what the actual diagnosis was. I saw the pop in the knee from a few of the videos that were shared online. Definitely sad and tragic to see. I will say this, though. I hated last year, and I think all Jet fans hated last year, when we saw Rodgers go down. It was crushing. It was crippling to how we felt as fans, how we thought the rest of our season was going to go. It essentially ended before it ever began. Well, I saw a few clips of some Packers bars cheering that fact on that game. I would think probably because they felt hurt that Rodgers left them, was kind of maybe they felt like he was a little douchey on the way out. But they were cheering when he went down 4 plays in. Now, fast forward to game 1 of this year, the NFL, who should never play on a field like they did down in Brazil. That is an absolute disgrace for an organization to just try and, not organization, but for the entity of the NFL to just, we need gobs of money. Oh, but the thing that protects those really valuable players, you know, like the guy that just got a monster contract from Green Bay? Yeah, we don't have to worry about that so much. If this dude's knocked out for the season, yo, what are they thinking? I hope Jordan Love is fine. I hope he's all right. He's a fun player to watch, really up-and-coming star in this league. It would be absolutely crushing to see that. But on the bright side of things, we got to see Bryce Huff in his first action, Mekhi Becton in his first action as guard. They suck. They're both terrible. No, I shouldn't say Bryce Huff's terrible. Look, he's going to get up and get his sacks over the course of the year. But, man, he was largely a non-factor. In last night's game. And that did feel kind of nice. We're going to go over the Haason Reddick news. Him not reporting, seemingly dying on a sword was the quote from what we heard. I think that's a good spot to jump over to that right now. So let's take a look over here. Little Haason Reddick. Per The Athletic, this is Deanna Rossini. No love lost on Deanna Rossini coming from this direction. But I think she's definitely plugged in with Haason Reddick because she's dropped little nuggets of stories and things like that and comments and, oh, this is what his side of the story is. Well, guess what? I was told that Reddick is operating with the mindset that he will die on this sword. He is absolutely Looney Tunes to die on this sword. Absolutely crazy. But I can see where it's coming from. I really can. See if I can pull up the comment I had here. So this is the fines that Haason Reddick has accumulated per Spot Track. Spot Track, if you guys don't know, really good salary cap website. They use, they got all the contracts in there, breakdowns, valuations, things like that. I use Over the Cap and I use Spot Track consistently to monitor contracts and fines and whatnot. So this is how much Haason Reddick's holdout has cost him. $5.07 million. Dude's supposed to play on a 1-year, $15 million deal. And he's going to forfeit another $791,000 per regular season game missed if he sits out the season. What is that? 791,666 times 17. That's $13 more million. 13. I don't know if it's going to show that. $13.5 million. He's going to owe the team money. This guy's a knucklehead. He's an absolute goon. What were you thinking? He's not going to play on a one-year, $15 million contract. Do you think he's going to play on a one-year, $10 million contract? This dude's not playing at all. We're going to have his rights for next year. That's what's going to end up ultimately happening. And this guy's the biggest knucklehead of them all. Absolute moronic take. So not only are we going to own his rights for next year, he's going to have to pay the fines from sitting out and missing games. It's going to cost yourself more money. What team's going to pay you a boatload of money after taking a year off, after not having any sacks in the final 4 games of your season, where there might be rumors of you having a downtick, starting to dial it back. Maybe not dial it back, but starting to lose your edge, right? Go out on the field and win a championship with the Jets. You're going to have so much publication because we're in primetime slots. You're going to make $1 zillion. You are a idiot. A straight up moron for doing this holdout, dude. We got to hear from Robert Saleh today. Hear what his thoughts are on it. Coach took the admiral approach.
Been gracious about this, and Joe has been gracious about this, but is there a point where you're like, you want to be here or not with this guy?
No, it's not that. You know, like everyone goes through their own process, and you know, I'll stand firm that when he gets here, we're going to welcome him with open arms. We're going to love him up. And he's going to be a part of this football team, and he's going to help us win a lot of football games. It's, you know, he's got to sort through the financial stuff, which is none of my business. I said it when I first got hired. Our job is to help these guys make money, so I always stay clear of it. Our job is to coach him when he gets here and love him up when he gets here.
That was the perfect answer to give if you're Robert Saleh. It's the answer he's been consistent with his entire time here with the Jets. I am here to help these guys try to earn more money. I'm not here to talk about your finances and the contract situation. That is Joe Douglas's job. It is his job to get the player on the field and to the point where I can then try to put them in a position to make the most money possible. This is your head coach, Haason Reddick. He wants you to make the dollars. He's going to put you in a prime position if you're playing in a prime capacity. Like, this is, oh man, this guy is just such a moron, such an absolute idiot for this type of holdout. I don't understand it. We got you by the balls. Is his representation just not like all there? Absolutely ridiculous when it comes to the Haason Reddick situation. Let me switch off that real quick. Boom. Absolutely dumb. If you guys haven't done so already, I want to take a look at it. Talking Jets Pick'em League is pinned in the live chat. I think I have it in the description as well, but if you guys haven't done it, you want to get in on it. We're giving away a jersey at the end of it for the winner overall. There's only been 2 games, so you're not that far behind. And every week, you get entered into a jersey, hat, mug, t-shirt giveaway anyway from the Talking Jets baggage claim. So if you want to join that, it's totally free, totally fun. It's been a good time. We have a lot of stuff going on in the chat. If you guys are a part of it, you will know. The rules are pretty funny in the event of a tie. So if you want to see how we're going to sort that out, you can head down into the description down below. All right, before we get into a little bit of the 49ers and some of the matchups and stuff like that, we'll just talk a little bit about how you guys are feeling in terms of Haason Reddick and all that. Let's see. Jaden saying WMD time. Will McDonald. Got to have him absolutely show out. He has the biggest opportunity right now with Haason Reddick being out. Not to mention every other edge rusher we got. Jay-Z Jets fan. Sad part about Reddick is that if he was here, he would probably be making $20 million for the season. His agents are stupid. Not to mention, him not being here is costing him, obviously, fines. But if he wants to recoup the money he's losing from the fines, he's going to expect the Jets to hurt their salary cap more. Meaning if he's going to have to pay $5 million in fines and the Jets don't get that money back, and he wants to now go back to his 1-year, $15 million contract instead of the 1-year, $10 million contract he's currently slated to play on because of the fines, the Jets are going to have to pay him $20 million to get him back to square one and hurt our salary cap even more. No damn way Joe Douglas should be doing that. No way. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Socrates. Haason, a fool, but JD screwed up by not re-signing Bryce, bruh. Look, Bryce Huff should have been re-signed 2 Marches ago. We applied the second-round tender on him when I said I think we should apply the first-round tender. The first-round tender, at the very least, implies that we don't want to lose you to another team. The second-round tender says, hey, come on. Bidders, who wants to give us a second-round pick for an edge rusher? Let's go. Line up. That's what the second-round tender says. The difference was only about $2 million. Maybe $3 million. I think it was $2 million, though. And then we doubled down. We drafted Will McDonald. So the Bryce Huff thing was off the table. He didn't even want to negotiate. I know, per my sources, the Jets were willing to go to $17 million. Fact. They were absolutely willing to go to 17. Bryce Huff did not want to negotiate. He signed $17 million with the Eagles. He got his money. I'm sure he might get more playing time. I don't know what his snap percentage was last night. Joe Douglas should have re-signed Bryce Huff. But that move should have been made prior to the drafting of Will McDonald, not after. Unwind says, feel this is all Reddick's agent need a huge jump from McDonald. I don't think Will McDonald's agent is advising him to hold out. I think this is more of an ego thing with Haason Reddick. And he very much wants to try and be... He is being underpaid. $15 million for the amount of sacks that he should be able to generate in this defense. He's underpaid. Absolutely. That sounds like more of an issue with your previous contract negotiations than where you currently are right now. If you're trying to hold out, you need a team that needs you. You need to have the leverage. Look, we would love to have Haason Reddick here, but he does not have the leverage against us because we have an all-pro secondary, best secondary in the league. We have 2 all-pro linebackers. We have got studs on the defensive line. We don't need Haason Reddick here. We would love to have him. We think he could earn himself a ton of money by being here, but he needed a team that solely was relying on him, and he miscalculated his hand, and now he's going to cost himself dearly. This is something he will never be able to come back from. Ask Le'Veon Bell how he feels about his holdout. The entire year he missed out on Pittsburgh. He screwed up. He was never able to recoup that money because he would have been able to get that kind of contract after the fact. After the fact. Yeti says, I'm at my kid's first soccer game. Wow, congratulations. He got 20. 20. I keep yelling, Brees, every time the ball comes to him. Everyone thinks I'm nuts. Oh, he got number 20 on the soccer field. I love it. Yeah, no one probably has any idea what you're talking about, Yeti. We do, though. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. David, McGregor, McKinley, LT3 got their time to shine. Get their time to shine. Yeah, dude. I think LT3, especially with Fotu being out, there's only Solomon Thomas and Javon Kinlaw in front of him. Now, if McKinley and McGregor can show out, and I think they're really going to try and give an opportunity to Clemens and to Will McDonald, at least in this initial game. So if Reddick misses more and McGregor and McKinley start showing out, I'm all about it. Zachary says, this is stupid agent play, and the agent just put Reddick in early retirement. I mean, this could be very easily maybe not very easily overcome at this point. He's missing a lot of fines. But you would think, at the very least, he'd be like, I got to get rid of my representation because this is not good. Not good whatsoever. Daniel asking, is Christian McCaffrey still questionable with that hamstring injury? I think he's going to play. I did see a comment on Twitter, something along the lines of the calf pull / Achilles. There's some type of I don't know if it's a concern as much as it's a strain, which is kind of what happened to Aaron Rodgers last year. Remember, in training camp, Aaron hurt his calf. And it was sore, and then it finally ruptured on week 1. That's the prevailing thought process, was an injury in training camp exacerbated by the tackle from Leonard Floyd, which I very much like Rodgers' response to. Screw Adam Schefter for having Floyd on purely to talk about how he hurt Aaron Rodgers and he's going to go back and play him again this year. And then I feel bad for Floyd because he was getting death threats from Jet fans. You shouldn't be doing that. Public figures, anyone, don't be sending death threats. That's stupid stuff. But I could tell you, at least everyone in the community that I'm a part of, as far as Jet fans go and people that I talk with, no one was blaming Leonard Floyd at all. We were blaming Dwayne Brown. You're blaming the tackles for doing the diving on the floor, the cut blocks. That's the stuff people were blaming people for. The overwhelming majority was not Leonard Floyd. But as far as the Christian McCaffrey stuff goes, look, I'm nervous for him. I don't want to see him get hurt. He's one of the stars of this league. Kevin comes in and says, 43% snap count for Huff. I heard when he was on the field on running downs, so I didn't watch the full game. But when he was on the field on running downs, they were just running right at him, or would be in the hurry up to keep him on the field. Like, that's a problem. Some guy, by dying on the sword, all Riddick is doing is helping the owners. No other player is going to do what he's doing in the future. Yeah, I mean, look, I think this is sending, for a 2026 third-round pick, Joe Douglas, not only did he get a star pass rusher if this guy shows up, not only is he setting a great precedent by signing Michael Carter II to a historic slot corner deal for showing up, but he's sending a message to the rest of the locker room saying, hey, look, this is not how you want to negotiate with the New York Jets. You get on the field and you play, and then you get rewarded just like Michael Carter, just like JFM did. That's what Joe Douglas is saying. Now, you're telling me maybe we have at least sent a message to some of our younger players that I don't expect to do this, but might be thinking about holding out in their upcoming contracts. He may have, saved the Jets in some roundabout capacity in negotiations for the cost of a 2026 third-round pick that he may not even be here to have to pay, or at least to miss out on utilizing. So I do like how Joe Douglas has handled this. Even the holdout portion where you, when you're signing, go back to the video that I said when Haason Reddick was traded to the Jets. I said, look, I don't want to extend this dude on a contract. I very much like this current deal as it sits right now. And it's a calculated risk because we knew he was unhappy with his contract. And Joe Douglas said, look, I know he's unhappy, but he might be happy here. And he might be able to make a lot more money if he plays for us. Primetime games, all the coverage. He's got Quinnen Williams next to him. He's got a stud defensive coordinator and head coach. It was a calculated risk. We thought Reddick would rather play on a $15 million deal and not play at all. Turns out he'd rather miss out on all that money this year, and the Jets still have him by the balls for 2025 for $15 million. Now, I don't expect the Jets to hold on to him at that point. I would think you'd try to trade him to someone that would like to hold on to him. And then at that point, you say, hey, give me a 2026 third-round pick. It doesn't, no skin off my teeth. Whatever. Or you force him to come in and say, look, dude, you're playing again and you're retiring. I don't care. It's one way or the other. We're going to get our cap space back one way or another. Unwind. I really like how Tack has played this offseason. I hope he can translate that onto the field in regular season. Yeah, me too. He's kind of revitalizing that career that was so, promising coming out of college. What was he, pick number, was he 17? I think he was in the teens, if I'm not mistaken. Sir Toon says, out of the young core, who do you think they may not still be with the Jets long term? I ask because I don't think Garrett Wilson will be the one to leave. Interesting. So I do think I think Sauce is going to be here as a lifetime Jet. That's the one I'm probably most confident in because of our love for our corners and whatnot. Obviously, Revis. I don't think Woody is going to make the same mistake he made with Revis. I think we're going to see him pay Sauce. Sauce is two-time All-Pro, never done by a cornerback to start a career before. He's, clean as a whistle. No drinking, no smoking. He's always got a good personality on him, always helping out his teammates. Sauce is going to get paid. I think Brees, I would love to pay Brees after this year. Give him a 3-year contract that, you might have to pay him $20 million a year. Or whatever it is for a weapon. Don't think of him as a running back. Think of him as a weapon. You're going to get him in the receiving game. You're going to get him as, put it this way. Would you sign Breece Hall for $10 million and then lose the money that you had from Lazard? That's the $20 million right there. So, I want to pay Breece on a 3-year contract. Jermaine, I think they're going to hold off on Jermaine for a little bit. I think they'll wait till his 5th year, going into his 5th year, and then I think they'll try to renegotiate that deal, see where he's at that point. Garrett Wilson's one that I think depends on how this season plays out. If the Jets are playing really, really well and they go far in the playoffs and all this stuff starts happening, then I think Rodgers coming back for next year, and now it becomes more critical for Garrett Wilson to be on the field, and he could, hold out and whatnot to, if that's the course of action he wants to take before next training camp. Because it'll be that much more critical going into the final year of Aaron Rodgers, perceivably on this team. I don't think he's going to be on beyond 2025. But I think there's a situation where if the Jets miss out and we have to nuke the whole thing, I do think there is a situation where the Jets don't hold on to Garrett. And I think that's more so in the situation where you need to pull the plug on a head coach and you have to reset everything, and Garrett just has all the assets in the world because you could probably get a first plus more for him in a trade. And that's coming from someone that I don't want to see Garrett Wilson gone. I very much want Garrett to be a lifetime Jet because, like Sauce, he's clean as a whistle. Dude is elite from a receiving standpoint. I just have a hunch that of the two, I don't think Garrett Wilson, or I shouldn't say, not of the two, of the 4 or 5 guys, whatever it is, I don't think Garrett Wilson's going to want to play with a rookie quarterback the same way he had to be, play with Zach Wilson the first 2 years. Now, if Jordan Travis is playing well, I think that gives us a lot more, I don't want to say leverage, but a lot more incentive for Garrett to want to stay here because he thinks he can still compete. He doesn't have to uproot his life. I'm sure he does like playing in the city. That, to me, is the most interesting dynamic at play. But it's something that's for future Ryan to worry about. Oh, and Sir Tunes actually says he thinks Garrett Wilson will leave. I saw it just below the comment. I agree with you then. I do agree with you. John, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, I've got all the confidence in the world for Monday night. I'll be rocking at T-Squared. That's awesome, John. Yeah, Jake's doing, I don't know what time it is, but T-Squared down in the city. I know Green Bean's going to be doing a live stream over on his channel, and then I'll do a live post game as soon as the game's over. I'm doing the every throw for Aaron Rodgers. So if you guys are not subscribed and you want to see that, we're also going to be doing the every throw from Brock Purdy, which is essentially our way of showing our defense coming after Brock and all that good stuff. So you get to see the pass rushers and how they're playing at the same time as I kind of get to promote a little bit to the 49ers fans if they want to check out the channel and subscribe over here. It's all fun. But John, very, very cool. Zachary comes in and says, last night Jordan Love injury was just karma for them cheering last year Aaron Rodgers injury. I completely agree. And look, I don't wish bad luck or injury on anyone. I really don't. And I like Jordan Love a lot. I think the Packers are a good team. I really hope, to this point, I don't think we've learned if it's an ACL injury yet. But man, I blame the NFL for that. Although, look, to be fair, that injury probably happens on good turf as well. That's not really an injury that was because of the grass they were playing on or the condition of the grass. But yeah, dude, it's hard not to look at it and say, man, that's an issue. That's an issue. Sports Illustrated said, Love's ACL is intact. Well, that's good. I'd like to see that. Sean Kenny says, Becton at guard, seemingly a good move. Yeah, we would have loved to put him at guard. I'm a left tackle. That's what Mekhi Becton was saying. Screw that guy. And Uncle Eero says, I agree, Kenny, but he never would have accepted that move to guard here. Yeah, no, he didn't accept moving to guard until he had no other options because no one wanted to sign him. Fact. BB. Where's BB? Gonna be there in person with my family to see the Jets get a W. BB's gonna be in San Francisco. That's so cool. That's gonna be an electric atmosphere. I was at the Monday night game last year against the Bills. Absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Unwind says, I think Garrett and Sauce get big contracts. Brees will go, unfortunately. No, I'd be irritated if we let Brees walk. Brees is the piece to this whole puzzle that I think is super critical to the offense. So I would not allow Brees to move at that point. They'll try to figure it out. They might, drag everything into like, hey, franchise tag for Brees and Garrett and Sauce, we're going to go into your 5th-year options. I don't love that. I'd like to see them get paid, but that's kind of what I'm seeing. Duncan says, what do you think the run-pass ratio will be each week? 60-40. Let's go over to the share screen. I think I may have held on to what those metrics looked like. Let me see here. Is this the one? Yeah, so I guess this is, I don't know if this is projection or based on last year. Average offensive snaps. So we pass plays were 66.3%, 66.7% of the time. Run plays were 33.3%. Again, I don't know if this is the projected or not. Either way, I would expect us to run more because I think we are going to be up more frequently than we are going to be down. So you're just by the nature of that, you're going to want to eat clock and try to get your guys home and out of it. We're going to have the killer bees attacking the defenses, both Brees and Braylon. So that's sort of where I see that going. So where's my comment thing here? So Duncan, that's my my analysis there. All right, let's see. Eddie, all 4 will be here as forever Jets. I hope so. Jets fan 33 says, got a franchise tag Brees. That's going to be a popular option for, I think, a lot of people. The issue is if Brees says, I'm not signing that franchise tag because I know I'm worth more money, it's going to hurt the Jets far more than not. I think you're going to have to pay Brees this offseason. Otherwise, if I were Brees, I would hold out because you're not making enough money right now to be concerned with. It's not like Le'Veon Bell where it's, hey, you're going to, or I guess you could wait till after the season and not sign your franchise tag, but I think the Jets should pay him before going into the 4th year of his rookie contract. Sean says, don't forget we need a future quarterback. Wilson won't want to play with another quarterback carousel. I agree. I think that's why the Jordan Travis development for the next 2 years is so important, is to try and hold on to Garrett. Jaden says, Sauce is getting $100 million contract. 4 years, $100 million. I completely agree because Surtain just got 4 years, $96 million, I think. I think it was $72 million guaranteed was what it ended up being. Absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. I'm going to throw up my matchup to watch this week. Aaron Banks, Quinnen Williams. Pressure rate, 4.9%. That's 47th out of 79 starting guards last year. Run block rate, 55.2. That's 56th out of 81 guards. And then when going against a top 15 defensive tackle, those are his grades last year. Do we think there's an impact from no Trent Williams being on the field? At least for the regular season? Or, sorry, preseason? Is he going to be rusty? We know how Tomlinson looked when not playing next to a fully locked and loaded Trent Williams, having to play next to Mekhi Becton. So maybe there's a little bit even more impact than what we see already here. Uncle Eero says, a ship with a hole the size of a pinhead isn't seaworthy. Reddick is a locker room issue, and a championship team can't afford to lose that kind of those kind of focus leaks. I really don't think the team is super concerned. I think like everyone on this knows we're trying to win a Super Bowl. Like, hey, it's gonna be great if he's here, but like we don't really know this dude. It's not like we have any personal connections to Hassan Reddick. He hasn't been in the building, building those relationships and having his side of the story heard by the players. Like, sorry, dude, if you're not here, you're not here. And guess what? Your contract's not guaranteed. Now, I don't know what happens if the Jets deactivate him. Does that just all go out the window? I think if he doesn't report for week 1, then it's unguaranteed completely, and then they might be able to do that. Eddie says, JJ may have the best of the 4, and they're all amazing. Don't sleep. I really love JJ. You guys remember back in that 2022 draft, I said I want Sauce Gardner at 4. If he's not there, I'm taking Jermaine Johnson. That's what I wanted. I am so high on Jermaine Johnson. I want his jersey in the worst way. When I was ordering my green jersey for Garrett, they didn't have the green JJ at the time, so I did not get his jersey yet. But I love me some Jermaine Johnson. When we took Sauce at 4, I wanted JJ at 10. When we saw JJ starting to slip and fall, I was like, you got to trade up. You just got to get him. Go do it. JJ and Sauce are the 2 guys that I was really like all on board with for that draft. And it's nice to see them both working out. I wish I was in on Garrett. I was more a receiver in the second round for that one. But I agree. I think Jermaine has all the potential in the world. Freedom House, after Zach Wilson, I wouldn't ever want a rookie quarterback again if I'm Garrett Wilson. I completely agree. Jane says, I hope we tag Jermaine. I don't want to tag Jermaine. I mean, we're going to go through his 5th-year option anyway. We might wait till his 5th-year option is out. I guess that's, okay, so I see what you're saying. Maybe we franchise tag Jermaine after his 5th-year option and try to work out a contract. Because I would like to sign him long-term. I think he is really good. Sean asking, what was the diagnosis? I thought it was weird he didn't leave the field and just sat on the side. I mean, maybe it's because they didn't think it was an ACL. I don't know. It seemed pretty ACL-y to me, but it's sounding like Sports Illustrated is not saying that. Snipes says, I'd much rather re-sign Garrett than Brees. Michael Carter's contract was much cheaper than I was expecting, so I think Jets could probably work it out. I disagree. I very much like Brees in the backfield. Now, maybe Braylon Allen will set some of that aside and will say, like, okay, well, he's so good on his young rookie contract that we can franchise tag Brees, and it's just going to be cheaper to do it that way than paying all the money. I don't like seeing that sort of finances play out because I do think there's some degree of, like, hey, do right by the player because the rest of the locker room's watching, and this dude's clearly a stud in Brees. Like, I think Brees is going to win Offensive Player of the Year. I threw some money on it. I can respect wanting to pay a receiver because of the shelf life of their career and the lower chance of them getting hurt comparatively to a running back, though. Let's see. Connor, what's good, dude? NY Flight Jets Talk. Good to see you in the chat, my friend. I'm so confident that I placed a $2,500 wager on my Jets. Wow, that is aggressive. That is an aggressive wager. But hey, I guess this is a good time to head over. I'll show you guys some of my thoughts in terms of Bet US lines. Nope, that's the wrong thing here. Let me just click out of that. All right. So Bet US right now. Get 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube150. You can also check out my 5 favorite bets down in the description down below. You can let me know which ones you think are good. It's futures for the New York Jets. I have season-long ones in there that I really like. Now, as far as the lines that they're offering over at BetUS, check for the most up-to-date odds, but they were saying +4 for the New York Jets. I understand that we're underdogs going into a Super Bowl team's house on opening day. We don't really know what the quarterback's going to look like just yet. Coming off the Achilles injury, I think that is a fair line, but I would take Jets money line here. I'm not touching the spread. I think it's going to be a close game, but I will tell you what I'll say. 43.5 points as the total points. I don't think that's happening. I really don't think it's happening. I think this is going to be a very defensive game. I think Brock Purdy's going to struggle. I think the Jets offense might take a little bit of time to get going. Both Aaron getting back up to speed for the NFL game. I think the offensive line's going to have to gel a little bit together. I think 44 points is going to be a tough ask. So if it were me right now, I would take Jets money line and the under on the points. I would not try to take the over. Early on in the season, it's usually not a great play to do that. So if you guys want to do that, click my link in the description down below. BetUS, thank you so much for sponsoring the show. All right, let's head back to the main screen, go to the comments. Wildwave, Becton had to compromise to guard since he didn't have a market. Smart decision on his part. Yes, I think it is a smart decision. I wish he would have done it here because then maybe we could have had him at guard and AVT at the other guard, and then you're just trying to figure out the tackle situation. But he wanted the bag, right? He was drafted as tackle, wanted to be a tackle. I get it. NY Jets fan 4 says, after watching the game last night, I couldn't help but laugh my ass off at how player cry about MetLife turf. Then last night, it looked like they were playing on an ice rink. What a joke that field was. How does the NFL not inspect this stuff ahead of time? I don't get it. It does not make sense to me. I agree with you. Looked like an ice rink. Bob comes in. Bob says, your comments about Garrett Wilson not wanting to play with the quarterback carousel and wanting better than Zach Wilson. Did Zach detractors know that Garrett Wilson had a 1,000-yard season his first 2 seasons? Yes, look, Garrett Wilson had 1,000 yards each of his first 2 seasons in the league, which, good, great. We were down by a lot all the time. We had to throw. That's honestly a large portion as to how he got there. He's a phenomenal talent. He would have had it with good quarterback play anyway, but it would have been because we're extending drives and we have more opportunities that way. As far as Garrett Wilson not wanting to play with a young quarterback, that is because of the 5th-year option. I've talked about this before in the past, and there's 4 5th-year options that happen. There's the baseline 5th-year option that every first-round pick gets if it's exercised. Then there's the playing time threshold, which Garrett Wilson is going to hit because he's played enough snaps to qualify for that next level of 5th-year option. The next 2 levels are Pro Bowl and multiple Pro Bowls. If you're telling me that you think that Garrett Wilson could have been a Pro Bowler with good quarterback play, the difference from that top-tier 5th-year option and where he's currently at is $7 million. Zach Wilson and the Jets' inept quarterback play cost Garrett Wilson $7 million worth of negotiating power on his 5th-year option. Now, I think Garrett Wilson's going to get a monster contract, and that's ultimately not going to totally matter, but there's negotiating power there in having that extra $7 million. If the Jets say, hey, look, we're just going to ride this out and you're going to play on your 5th-year option, guess what? You lost $7 million because we had Zach Wilson as quarterback. Garrett Wilson's not going to put up with having to play with young quarterback play again. Zachary Burner says, did you see the full contract breakdown for Michael Carter II? We can sign all our stars. Okay, let me take a look at it right now. I did not see the actual contract breakdown on it. Carter. All right, so Michael Carter's contract is a 3-year extension with 3 void years. Let's see if I can show this on screen. Let's see if I can get this over there. Give me one moment. I think if I pull this up, hide that. All right. Whoops. Clicking into things now. All right, let's try that again. Take a look at this contract together. I love looking at contracts. So if you guys are anything like me as far as like nerds for contracts go, definitely hit that subscribe button. All right, let's move Zachary's comment. I'm going to take it off screen just for a second here. So here's Michael Carter's contract, and I guess I should get the years involved in it too. So let's do that. God, why does that keep happening? All right, boom. There we go. So this is Michael Carter's contract. 3 years. You could tell 2025, 26, and 27 are the extensions of the year. 2025 is a much lower base salary than the other years. His signing bonus does create a little bit more of a cap hit this year than it would have if he stayed on his prior deal. But 2025, we're saving a bunch of money in another Super Bowl year. So that's huge. $9 million and $9 million plus 3 void years. You're going to be able to stretch that money out. The Jets did this beautifully. Look at his cap numbers. $2.6 million, $4.2 million, $12.2 million, $12.2 million, and then the Jets will take a dead cap hit of $2.8 million if we do not extend him when he turns 29. This is a great contract by Joe Douglas. Absolutely phenomenal contract, beautifully done, and you are allowing yourself the opportunity, if you need to, in 2026, to get out of the contract. This is when we're going to get a ton of dead cap space. So in 2026, when he's got 2 years remaining on his deal, he'll be 27 years old. There's going to be a good shot that the Jets either cut him if they're forced to, or renegotiate a longer-term contract to drop his cap hit over the course of a bunch of different years, and maybe Michael Carter wants to stay here long-term, which I hope he does. Dude is a stud. Now, contract notes, Michael Carter II signed a 3-year extension with the New York Jets worth $30 million in new money with $18 million in total guarantees, including a $6 million signing bonus and a $4 million option bonus in 2025. The contract includes 4 void years. 4 void years for salary cap purposes. Why is it 4 void years? What am I not understanding here? I don't see that. Okay, so what it's saying, I believe, is his cap hit stays the same this year. And then in 2025, where you see these 4 prorated signing bonus, the 1.2, 1.2, 1.2, 1.2 in 4 consecutive years under prorated signing bonus, I would imagine if he's on the team next year, that's when that portion hits, and it then stretches it out over the course of these years if they accept it. That's how I'm reading this. I don't understand the 4 void years portion of this, though, so maybe there's an extra year that they're just not showing. I thought 3 void years was the most you can actually do. So very, very interesting contract, and I very much like what Joe Douglas did with that deal. All right. Snipes says, I think Garrett is much more valuable to this offense than Breece. If you look at what each have done with our respective crappy offense the past 2 years, Garrett's play has stood out more to me. I just disagree. I think Garrett's phenomenal, but I think Breece is what makes this whole thing click. I think we're going to see that even more so this year. I think we are going to see Breece hit 2,000 yards between receiving and rushing yards. And I think because we're going to be up so much, you're going to see that impact more. Garrett was able to do some spectacular things, but it's because largely in part because we are just horrible. We were terrible last few years with Zach Wilson. We needed to throw the ball nonstop. So I do think Hall is more valuable to this team's success right now. Although I will say Braylon Allen is a much better number 2 running back than I feel about, well, I guess we haven't seen what Mike Williams is just yet, but more than I feel like I feel like Braylon Allen could step in for Breece more than I feel like Mike Williams or Allen Lazard or whoever else could step in for Garrett Wilson, God forbid something happened. So from that perspective, I do completely agree with you. Wild Whiffs, did anyone hear Huff's name last night? Nope. Did not. Sorry, Huff. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Wild Wave says, could you explain void years? Because I don't get it. So what void years are dead years. Here, let's pull that up again. We'll go back over to the Michael Carter contract. So what void years are these 3 years in 2028, 29, and 30. And for cap purposes, what that means is when you get a signing bonus, it's all paid out in one lump sum. So let's say, just for easy math, you got a $10 million signing bonus on a 4-year contract. You would then get cap hits of 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5 of that $10 million signing bonus across 4 years. That's what you're seeing with the 1.2, 1.2, 1.2, 1.2. That would be a $4.8 million option bonus is how that's structured, and you see it spread out over those years. When you add void years to a contract, it allows you to manipulate that bonus to spread out over over void years where he's not going to be on the team. Void means his contract ends in 2028 and he's going to be a free agent. The Jets, he's not going to be, he's not held to the team for those years. So when they say it's a 3-year extension, it is a 3-year extension. They just add these dead years on to allow the player to get more money and allow the team more flexibility from a cap maneuverability standpoint. Because if you do a signing bonus that spreads out over the course of a bunch of years, guess what? The salary cap is going to go up each and every year. Should, at least, in theory. So salary cap jumps up. Guess what? That cap hit from that signing bonus that you took year one that was, kind of hurt. Guess what? The next year, not going to hurt as bad because the cap is going to go up, but that the money doesn't go up with the salary cap. So with each year, each successive year, 4 years in a row, it goes up. That salary cap hit stays the same. You now have more money overall in that pot, while also bringing down your base salary. So look, in 2026, he's got a $9 million base pay. If the Jets wanted to, they could convert that $9 million and make it $1 million in base pay, dropping his salary cap hit down, and then pay him an $8 million signing bonus and spread that $8 million over the course of the remaining years of his contract, which then makes his contract roughly $3 million cap hit instead of $12 million cap hit. Does that kind of make sense? It's a little funky to word it in such a way, but that's the main gist of it. I love the games that contracts play and how you can manipulate different stuff. I've gotten pretty good at all that. So if you ever have questions about contracts, feel free to head over this way. All right. Let's see. Snipe says Trent signed. No, Trent did sign. But he might be rusty from not playing in the offseason. So maybe there's some degree of struggles that we'll see from the left guard, Aaron Banks, because we saw how Laken Tomlinson struggled when he wasn't next to Trent Williams. So maybe to some degree, Trent Williams is not 100% of what he was, thus creating a little bit more chaos for Aaron Banks than we otherwise would have seen. Duncan says, hit the like, folks. That's right. Hit those milk thumbs. Do I have milk thumbs? I don't know where's my milk thumbs button. Here we go.
Milk thumbs.
I always love seeing that. J-Boy says, we crazy to think Big Quinnen won't have 4 hands on him on the first play to last. No, that's great. I'm all about Quinnen getting double teamed and triple teamed because that frees up everyone else. And that offensive line outside of Trent Williams is suspect. So if it were me, I would take Quinnen and I would go flying that other direction, fly into Trent Williams. Crash down that way. Get everyone to start moving towards Trent Williams. Then you create some big holes for linebackers to come through. That's what I want to see. Freedom says, I agree. He's a problem and could become a bigger one. I would not give him guaranteed money after this stunt. Yeah, no, I'm not giving Hassan Reddick guaranteed money at all. At all. That would be a bad move. J-Mo, what's up, dude? He says, Reddick gonna be slow as F when he shows up. Yeah, if he's not here for week 1, even though his salary's non-guaranteed for the season, I wonder if there's a different level of like not guaranteed. Like, hey, I'm here, but guess what? If the Jets deactivate you, does that mean you now lose those game checks? Like, if he's not playing well, I don't know what the Jets' recourse would be if they still have to pay him as long as he's showing up and like a hold-in doesn't necessarily matter. Either way, I am not super optimistic about Haason Reddick. We went over it earlier, John. I don't know if you were in the stream yet, but you know what? I'll throw it up on screen right now. All right. Fines. All right. Here's the fines that Haason Reddick is currently facing. $5 million in fines. Dude was supposed to get paid 1 year, $15 million this season. His ass ain't playing for 1 year, $10 million. I can tell you that right now. And guess what? If he wants to recoup that $5 million, he's going to need Joe Douglas on the Jets to give him $20 million just to reset his salary back to where it was. And that means the Jets are going to have to take it on the chin and say, hey, yeah, I guess we'll accept a $5 million cap hit this year from a player that like has been totally treating us the wrong way. So I don't know. This is going to get messy. I could totally see Haason Reddick sitting out and not showing up to any games at this point. Terrible, terrible advice he's getting from his people. Snipe says Garrett will be the #1 wide receiver in the league this year. Hot take. I don't know if that's a hot take. Maybe I would say he's probably not going to be the #1 wide receiver because I think we just have so many good young stars on this team. I think Breece is going to be the focal point, and because of that, you won't see Garrett get the numbers that I think he's capable of. Like if he played in an offense that like a Jamar Chase or Tyreek Hill or name any stud wide receiver, I think you would see a lot from Garrett. I just don't know if he's going to be able to achieve that in this game or with this team. Freedom House saying 17 penalties last night. Refs thirsty for the spotlight. Dude, the first game on Thursday night, Ronnie Stanley got like 4 illegal formation penalties, and like I think it was 2 or 3 in a row. It was like a lot. Super uncomfortable to watch because I didn't even know what the hell was going on. I was like, wish they would show replays of this and like really explain why this dude's getting so many penalties. But I guess now you got to be a tackle perfectly in line with the guard. I always thought you could have that kind of like, maybe that was always a rule and they just never called it. I don't know. Super funky. For a league that wants to protect quarterbacks, to then put the tackles in a position that definitely would be less advantageous than lining up slightly further back because you get that much more leverage to then take on a speed rusher. Like you're going to get quarterbacks hit if you're going to call it this way, which I'm totally fine with. I'll be honest. I think we have totally sucked not the fun out of the game, but like it's taken that super physical element of defense away to some degree. So if you're going to force tackles to line up next to the guard in line, I think you're going to see a lot more edge rushers get home. So we'll see how that ultimately plays out. Eddie, what's good, Eddie? Says, I think we are set behind Rodgers for the future between Jordan and Martinez battling it out. 2 quarterbacks who are quick decision makers, which is so key. I don't know if Martinez is going to be any type of long-term option. I think Jordan Travis was drafted with the long shot potential of him being that long-term option. I would love to see Jordan Travis be the guy, or maybe have Martinez and Jordan Travis duke it out behind the scenes. I'm all about that. If one of these guys can come to fruition, I think that saves us a lot. Ron Weiss, what's up, dude? He said, my man, what are you having for game night on Monday night? Where can I get that shirt? Oh, check that out. Copilot, if you would like to support the show, let me show you where you can get that. Right. I had it here somewhere. Bam. I got the Copilot merch line. You can head over to jetstalk.com. Jetstalk.com. You can get, there's a hat, there's a hoodie, there's a shirt. There's actually a set of 5 pins. So if you want to give Copilot pins to people, maybe you're having a bachelor party, you want to show all your guys who are Copilots, or you just want to support the show, that's cool too. Copilot. I probably should have got one for myself that says pilot. That would make a little bit more sense, but it's all right. That's fine. But if you guys want to support the show, jetstalk.com, you can head over to get yourself a shirt. Let's see. I do want to keep the Haason Reddick fines up in case I got to jump back to that a little bit later. But Ron, thank you so much. I can't wait for the game. What am I having Monday night? I'm planning to make buffalo chicken dip. I got all the ingredients. I switched over from the Tostitos scoops to the Fritos scoops. The Fritos scoops have a little bit more structural integrity, can really handle a thicker dip. So that's my move. Just when Jet says defense is top 3 with Reddick, offense is top 3 with Davante, would you trade Reddick? Yeah, at this point, if Reddick's not going to be here, I'm fine with using him as an asset to trade for Davante. I'm definitely on the side of like forcing Reddick to show up, but if he's not ultimately going to show up, then we might as well just move on from him at this point and not give up an additional draft pick for Davante. I think Davante is going to happen at the trade deadline. So we'll have a pretty clear indication as to whether or not Reddick has shown up by that point. If he doesn't, then trade him for Davante. If not, if he does show up and he's now playing on the field, I'm trading a pick for Davante. I do think Davante, I'd rather give up draft picks and have 2 premium players than trade one for the other. It's not a bad decision, but I just want more in the next 2 years. I'd rather sacrifice 2026 picks and keep star talent. Bob. What's up, Bob? He says, even with Sam Darnold as quarterback, Justin Jefferson is racking up 1,500 yards. We will see the receiving yards total for Garrett Wilson with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, look, I would love to see a 1,500-yard season from Garrett Wilson. I do think with Sam Darnold being the quarterback this year and not J.J. McCarthy, I think there's going to be some degree of like forcing J.J. the ball just so he gets his numbers and fans are excited for him and whatnot. I think. Ron White's asking, Fritos are smaller. So not Frito like the thin Frito, like Frito scoops. It's a stronger structural scoop, which might maybe surface area level be smaller than a Tostitos scoop. But if anyone who's dipped a Tostitos scoop into a dipped nose, it's gonna break every time. Frito scoop doesn't break. It's a thicker chip. Let's see. Freedom House. I can't believe people are still defending Zach Wilson. Yo, I want Zach Wilson to play week 4. We just sold out all our tickets for the group buy. Sold out. We're going to have 100 people chanting, play Zach Wilson. Play Zach Wilson. I don't know. That chant, or we can come up with something different. I'm about it. That's what I'm saying. Michael Carter II, great value signing. Completely agree. Robert, for my 2 cents worth, get rid of him. He is worth more than he is worth. Hassan Reddick is what you're talking about. And that's fine. I understand that thought process. If you could trade him for Davante, I'm okay with that. Squidward Tentacles, what's up, dude? Nice having you call in from Bikini Bottom. Brees has the same effect as CMC has. The offense revolves around his success. I completely agree, and I would pay him like Christian McCaffrey. If it is a 3-year, $60 million deal with $40 million guaranteed or whatever it is, I think Brees is going to get $20 million a year. And I think he's worth it. I would rather have Brees than a lot of different wide receivers. If Brees is going to see 25 touches a game, how many receptions does a really good wide receiver get in a game? 7 to 10? Brees is going to touch the ball like 20 times, 25 times. Brees is worth every damn penny. Every damn penny. Freedom House saying, the box was stacked against Brees. Everyone knew we were running, and Brees still was phenomenal. I completely agree. Minion Troller says, hey, Ryan, I'm worried about Monday because I don't know if Rodgers will get injured. Hey, look, don't worry about the injury stuff. If he goes down, we're just a snake-bitten franchise. We're back where we were. But at least we got Tyrod Taylor instead of Zach Wilson, so it at least gives you some shot of making things happen. I don't even want to think about injury. I really don't. Not to him. He's going to play all season. Confidence. Radimus Prime. What's good, dude? Says, also milk them thumbs. That's right. Milk thumbs, baby. He says, it's the Chiefs. Refs favor them heavily. We exposed that last year when Zach owned Mahomes. We should have won that game last year. That was so exciting. Sean says, you know it's bad when Lane Johnson is getting flagged for illegal formation. Yeah, dude's a stud. Super goofy. Billy asking, did Reddick show up today? I haven't seen anything of it. Last I heard, he is still willing to die on a sword for his beliefs that he should be getting paid. Eric says, love the show, Ryan. Thank you, Eric. Unwind says, will you be with O'Leary at the Jets vs. Broncos game weeks 4? I got tickets to go with them. Unwind, yes. Myself, O'Leary, and Green Bean, all 4 of us, 3 of us, math is hard. All 3 of us are going to be at the game. Jeremy, Jets Chaos, is going to be joining us as well. I think Dom C will be there. He's got season tickets, so I'm like 95% sure he'll be there, just not sitting with us. Tigo's not coming up from Florida. I think he's got his, don't quote me, but I think he's got his kid's birthday or something like that going on. Yeah, I'm excited. Hanging out with Tailgate Joe. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a really good time. And we get to go on the field after it, too. McNally says, it's going to be a run-heavy offense, so doubt it. Will still be great. Talking about Garrett Wilson. That's what I think is going to happen. I think Breece is going to get the majority of touches this year, and you're going to see probably similar numbers to Garrett. Like, I could see a 1,200-yard season with, like, more touchdowns. I don't remember how many touchdowns he had last year, but maybe he gets, like, 8 touchdowns. I could see that. Paul, I believe Rodgers is 10-0 on Monday Night Football, excluding last year. Well, even if you want to include him in last year, he'd be 11-0. Your Jets won last year. Rube, what's up, good? What's good, dude? Words are hard for me today. McNally says, do you think Mike Williams will get minutes? I hope so. I'd like to see him. Even if he's used as like a little bit of a decoy to some degree. Wild Wave says, if I'm JD, I'll guarantee his contract. The rest he's going to have to earn in incentives. All this could have been avoided if he just showed up. I completely agree. The Jets would have guaranteed his full contract for this year, provided he plays in every game. Now, the issue could have been is like, hey, we're going to guarantee your salary. Oh, and guess what? Now I'm not showing up. So you would have had to build in a provision to say that he like is definitely there. Yeah, I don't know. He's making bad move. Chris says, does Reddick really have a good agent? Isn't he ignoring his agent's advice? So his agent is the same agent as Deebo Samuels, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, or at least the same agency. I think it's is it TAA or SAA? I don't remember the exact one, but actually Joe Douglas is represented by it as well, and so is Will McDonald. So it's a little goofy, or no, maybe not Will McDonald. Maybe it's Bryce Huff is what I'm thinking of. Let's see. Oreo, what's up, Ryan? How realistically do you see the Jets actually winning this game? I see the Jets hang tough through the first 3 and the 49ers pull away in the 4th. I got Niners winning 34-17. I don't think the 49ers are going to get 34 points on this Jets defense. I could see them winning like a 20-17 type game or, 17-14. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think we deserve to be underdogs right now until we prove otherwise. Look, we didn't even get to prove last year that the Jets were going to be good with Aaron Rodgers. Now he's coming back after an injury. We got to put up before we can really be taken too seriously. TY91, I can't wait for Monday night, dude. Right there with you. Sincere. 2 questions. 1, what's going on with the Izzy going to the Cowboys? I just saw that the headlines on your video, on your other video, and 2 is more of a quote anyway. F Reddick, don't even trade him. Let him watch us do great. Yeah, look, I would trade Reddick for Devontae if he's not going to show up, and I will know that by the time the trade deadline comes around. At this point right now, I would let Reddick rot and sit on the bench and just forego game checks if that's what he wants to do. And then I would trade for Devontae later on. As far as Izzy going to the Cowboys, I don't see it happening right now. I did take Izzy a little bit later in a few leagues, just on the off chance that the Jets do trade him. I think he's going to be inactive for a lot of games with the Jets. I think as long as Isaiah Davis, Breece, and Braylon are healthy, I don't think we play Izzy or dress Izzy. If there's a running back injury, I think someone will come knocking to the Jets, and the Jets might be able to get a higher pick than they drafted Izzy with. And I would be on board with that. Billy saying Reddick would be happier in Vegas. He would have more leverage than he does here, and Devontae would be happier with Rodgers. It's a good trade. It makes sense for all sides. No state income tax will get Reddick more money. They have a bunch of salary cap space, so they could pay him a contract, and it wouldn't necessarily impact their salary cap the way that it would hurt us by trying to get as many players as we can under our salary cap for a Super Bowl run. So I do agree. It would work out well for both sides. Elon says, no Reddick, no bueno Monday night. No one is taking Reddick. Our GM lowballed him an extension. This standoff is on him. No, look, I'm sorry. He took a calculated risk and he said, look, I'm okay with a standoff because we're going to get that salary cap back if he doesn't play. Guess what? If Reddick didn't want to come here, he shouldn't have said, okay, I'll play on my current contract or we'll work something out. He should have just said, look, I'm not playing. I'm going to sit out. Or maybe he did say that and Joe Douglas said, all right, I'm going to call your bluff. And either way, it's a calculated risk. A third-round pick in 2026 is not enough of an issue. Like, what other player did we miss out on because we traded for Haason Reddick? I'm pretty sure Davion Clowney was already signed by that point, so we'd already missed out on him. So that had nothing to do with it. Is there another edge rusher that has become available that would have been a better get for Joe Douglas? I think the upside of Reddick is just so much higher than that of anyone else. I think it was a calculated risk. Reddick's just making a really dumb decision. Radimus says, I can't believe Zach's gone, and Jet fans still can't keep his name out of their mouths. Yeah. You included. But we're going to play Zach Wilson week 4. We're going to play the Broncos week 4. Man, I hope he's the one starting. J-Boy says, yeah, let's turn week 4 into Zach and not what is on the field. Get over it. Oh, calm down. We're going to be talking about plenty about what's on the field. Duncan, Ryan is an expert on both NFL contracts and dip chips. Duncan, that is fact. That is a fact. Let's see. What else you guys talking about? Eddie says, never, ever believe douchebag Michael Lombardi. So, yeah, he said he had good sources that Haason Reddick was showing up either last night or today. That appears to have not been true. So, yeah, I agree. Snipe says, I've heard rumors from Buffalo Jet fan that the money that Michael Carter II saved the Jets in this year might have been for Reddick to help him get in the building. That's what I thought initially, was like, wow, okay. Well, we didn't save any money by signing Michael Carter to an extension. If anything, his signing bonus would have elevated his cap hit slightly. So I don't think that's necessarily accurate. Now, maybe there's more money in 2025 potentially because we didn't have to take a cap hit there. I think the restructuring of Conklin and of, who was the other one that restructured? It was Conklin and I'm drawing a blank on who the other, Quincy. The two of those guys, once they restructured, that's what I thought was making room for Haason Reddick. And it could. But now looking at the numbers, he's already getting fined $5 million. If he wants to get back up to the 1 year, $15 million deal that Reddick didn't want to play on initially, the Jets are going to have to eat another $5 million in salary cap space just to get him where he was unhappy before. So, like, I don't think this is going to go over well. See, Billy's saying it. Losing $5 million bucks trying to get a raise doesn't seem logical, especially when you consider this. He's losing the $5 million this year, and the Jets are going to have to add another $5 million. Like, what incentive does Joe Douglas have to pay this dude? Like, are you willing to eat $10 million off our salary cap hit to give him a $5 million raise so he is now on his effective 1 year, $20 million contract that he wants? Because if we give him a $5 million bump, he's back where he started. 1 year, $5 million. Or 1 year, $15 million. Absolutely silly. Absolutely silly. All right, I'm going to take this to an hour 10. So get your questions in if you have not already. King Blaze doesn't like 35-point score. That was predicted in the chat, and I agree. I don't think Jets defense is giving up 35 points. Unglued Banjo says, this game will be the most talented game the Jets have ever been a part of. True test of steel. Go Jets. Not just the Jets team, the 49ers team, like you're saying here, Unglued Banjo. The amount of star power and talent on these two teams on the same field at the same time is incredible. Definitely the strongest unit I've ever seen the Jets field. Eddie says, explain to me how owners have put fans against players. I hate it so much. Have managed to put fans against players. No, look, fans aren't against players. Fans are for their team. Owners are for their money. But if you have an issue with Haason Reddick, I mean, do we think Hassan Reddick should get paid a big contract? Look, I want to sign some of our young players to big contracts. I don't particularly want to hold on to Hassan Reddick. I want him on a 1-year rental and then get a 3rd-round comp pick after he's balled out this season. I want the most out of him. I have no care about the owner's money. If you told me we could uncap the league and players could make as much money as possible on the open market, I'm all about it. I'm all for it. I'm not pro-owner. I'm definitely pro-player, but I'm also pro not being a knucklehead. King Blaze, 49ers are scoring at the most 20 points or less. Our defense is better than last year. Look, I don't know if our defense is better than last year, but I think our offense is going to put us in a position where our defense can key in more than they did last year in terms of interceptions, in terms of pass rushing ability. But I don't think our defensive line is stronger right now without Reddick, without Huff, without JFM, without Al Woods, without Jefferson. Yes, we got Kinlaw. Yes, we got McGregor and all these young guys that we're excited about, but I don't know if I can effectively say we are better than we were last year. Maybe the increase in playing time and reps from the young players is what leads us to be a better defense this year, but I think it's going to be the offense that gets us more. Duncan says, I think Reddick gets his checks if he's on the 53 and inactive for the week. They would have to cut him and not pay him, or him not showing up. Okay, but I know after week 1, if he doesn't report, his salary becomes unguaranteed, which I guess would probably be you have to cut him then. And I don't see the Jets cutting him because then he'll get what he wants. He could sign somewhere else. He's going to be with a contender or something along those lines. If it were me, I would force him to be on the field, or if he's going to do a hold in and not like, I'm just going to half-ass it, then let him half-ass it. Because guess what? He's not going to parlay that into a big contract. He's going to have to ball out. Unglued says, 49ers had number 1 offense last year. They are a problem for anyone. I completely agree. That's why no one thinks either side can blow the other out or shut the other out. Get talent on both sides of the ball on every play. Yeah, look, we're just going to have to hope that the Jets defense holds strong. The offense can do what it's got to do. But I think it is going to be a low-scoring game. I really do. Wild Wave says, wait, so the fines he accumulated doesn't go back on our cap? No, only game checks will. So he's going to get fines that are not attributed to the Jets salary cap space. Right now, his $15 million is not counting against the Jets salary cap space because he's not currently on the roster. If he reports, we don't get that money back unless he's missing game checks. So if he misses this game because he's not in the building and did not report, we would get $700,000 effectively back on our cap when he does show up. Because right now, his entire salary is not counting towards the salary cap. Bacon, I think Rodgers will struggle in week 1 because he didn't play in the preseason. Same thing happened the last 2 years in Green Bay, but then he obviously played a lot better after that. Yeah, look, I expect him to struggle as well. David says, no call-in show. We're going to do a call-in show after for the post-game. For Jets 49ers post-game, and then we'll do one maybe after the Tuesday show or something. We'll kind of play with that as we go. Richard says, spot that Douglas dropped the ball was not signing Huff 2 years ago. I agree. Had to get it done 2 years ago. Last year, Huff did not want to be here. He wasn't gonna work with us after we gave him the 2nd-round tender and drafted his replacement in Will McDonald. Devindra says, pumped for the season, but hard to be as excited as last year after what happened. Just feeling worried. Love the show. Thank you, Devin. I am very much concerned for how this plays out. But I'm more confident because I think the skill on this team is better than it was a year ago. I think the offensive line is better. I think there is just a lot more depth at the wide receiver position. I think the running back room is far stronger than it was last year. And look, I had more excitement going into the season, but I have more confidence going into this season. So it's a weird thing to kind of wrap my head around, but that's what it is. Oreo says, well, so what's your official prediction for the Jets-Niners game? I don't know, Ryan. I know our defense is elite, but we've had questions this past. If the defense quit on Salah, they're going to be tested. So I don't think the defense is going to quit on Salah. I think what's going to happen is it's going to just be 2 teams duking it out. And I do have the Jets losing this game. I think we wind up losing by like 3 points. The 4-point spread I think is spot on. I wouldn't touch this game with the spread. I would take Jets money line. I think it's going to be a tight game, and I would take the under on the points. So if you guys did not see before, I have a little bit of stuff to look at over here on BetUS. Get 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000 with code YouTube100. Click on the link in the description down below. You can check out my 5 favorite bets as well. +4 is the spread for the Jets. I would not touch that. I think the Jets money line at +183, that's bet $100, get $183 back. And the total points, 43.5, I would hit the under on that as well. So if you want to take a look at that, use the link in the description, head down there and get yourself 150% bonus match on your first 3 deposits. BetUS, thank you so much for sponsoring the show. Boys and girls, I'm going to head out of here. I'm going to go get some lunch. Go hang out, do that. If you guys haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to have the every throw for Aaron Rodgers and the every throw for Brock Purdy, so we can take a look at the defensive players as well. Got a little bit of help this year. Jacob, you are the man. I'm going to be putting out an application for anyone who does want to help out the channel from helping me create, stuff that we could put out, whether it's helping with the every play video. Maybe we can get a team of guys doing that, putting a whole bunch of every player videos out for the community. So keep an eye out for that if you're looking to maybe help out the channel in some capacity. But other than that, it's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed hanging out with you guys today. And this time, Monday afternoon, we'll be getting ramped up for Jets 49ers. And this time, Tuesday morning, we're going to be talking about a Jets victory. It's going to happen. Rest of the league isn't like us. Boys and girls, this is Jets Talk signing off. JETS!